Welcome back to part 4 of the black Friesian horse. Now we're going to continue to work on the rein across the horse's neck and also the rest of his neck and the body that's in the picture. And we're going to use about the same colors that we're using now and the same method. So I have my gray and white pencils. I've put in the ornaments with the white and yellow and the French red ochre. And I'm going to add in the rein by using grays, our 726 gray and 706 and 720, to put in the different shades just like we did before and blend them with a blender. I put a white edge to kind of separate it from the rest of the horse and also show the thickness of the rein on the horse's body. Now I've straightening up my line, adding a little more unison color to do that and blending it, adding a little dark color where the shadow of the neck comes down. So I'm using the Terry Ludwig for that. And there are always these wispy hairs. I see those, and so I start adding a few of those as well. So I put in the yellow and white of the ornaments on the rein, and I'm coloring in the rein with 726 Carbothello Cold Gray number 4. Using the white on the edge. That adds thickness, gives the rein some weight. You can see all my colors. I'm holding them in my hand. Adding a shadow with black 750 Carbothello. And I'm also using the black to add a little bit of shadow underneath the white that I added before. Kind of also gives the effect of it being thick. And smoothing that out with the 720 Carbothello gray. Coloring out the rest of the rein that's in the picture. And putting some 720 Carbothello over that to kind of blend it together. and adding the white edge to that. Using the white to add stitching to the rain. That gives it a nice effect. And a little black shadow underneath. Here I'm finishing up the highlights on the gold pieces on the rain. And now I'm using the Terry Ludwig eggplant to add the shadow that is cast by the rain onto the neck, and also onto the neck by the head of the horse where the sun is coming from the right hand side. And I'm blending that with my blender. Now I'm filling in the rest of the body of the horse with the Unison Blue Violet 16 between the rein that you see and the other piece of tack that's on the horse, and blending that. I'm blending that well. I'm also going to add some highlights on that by using some Richardson Blue 22, and it's probably off camera because my camera has slipped down a bit and I didn't catch it, but you will see it in the next clip I have. I also added some Richardson V8, which is the light violet, into that area. I'm going to use it on the nostrils also, but I'll explain that more in our next segment. Now the camera has been repositioned, And I'm using a Carbothello 770 Payne's Gray to deepen the shadow a little bit. And you can see where I've added the violet to the center, right below the rein and above the next piece of leather. And it highlights that area and it makes it look fuller, makes it come forward. I also used the violet on the nostril on the outside edge and a little bit on the inside edge, the V8. It's a great color. I'm really enjoying using these Friesian colors. Now I'm outlining the bottom area with a 770 and drawing in where I think more shadows are going to be underneath the leather. Evening that up with the 770 Payne's Gray before I move on to another area. I'm smoothing out the gray by adding little touches of the 726 in the rain. Just want to make it more even. Adding a little more blue to this area, lightening up a little bit more. When I paint, it's going back and forth, changing values, adding things as I see the need for them. And I'm using my blender to smooth that out. I'm liking the way that looks. Add a little bit more and blend that out. I'm adding a little more blue, and then I'm also going to add a little more violet further down, the V8 Friesian. I'm using some new pastel black to darken the shadow that's cast underneath the leather. Now I'm using I'm using Unison blue violet to lighten the edge of the neck, and I decided it needed something a little brighter. So I picked up the Friesian violet and added that, and I'm blending that in. I just love this color. I love the violet colors mixed with the eggplant, which reads black. When you look at the coloring of the horse, you know it's a black horse, but it's so much more vibrant than if we'd used simply black. So I'm putting a little violet on the nose, and that's the Richardson V8, a little bit up on the forehead, and a little bit more on the very top underneath the braid. That looks great. Now I'm adding little touches of violet number 8 to the braid on the horse. It adds a nice highlight. Now we're going to color this breast collar as we did the previous leather straps on the horse. I'm going to outline these that are going off the back of the horse. Put white on the outline. Outline them with white rather, which adds thickness. I'm outlining that and shading it with Carbothello 750 black. Just a little gold piece there. And a little 726 gray. The holes with the black, 750 black. And blend, put in the holes with the black. And that little bit of white around the hole, which really adds depth to the hole. I'm coloring this in with 726 Carbothello gray, going around the strap that goes through the gold piece. We're going to color our strap, our breast collar, as we've done previously with a Carbothello 726 Cold Gray 4, shaded with Payne's Gray 770. Use Carbothello 720 Cold Gray number 1 to add highlights if needed, and General Pastel White to add an edge on the top of the leather that indicates thickness. It makes the leather look thick. Now the little gold decorations I'm putting on the breast collar first. And for those, I used General White pastel pencil to kind of, I added the white kind of like spokes from the center with Carbothello 210 yellow orange. You can use some 221 orange, Carbothello 675 French ochre, and cast a shadow from the little studs onto the breast collar with 750 black. And I almost forgot, in the very center of our little ornaments is a little white dot, which is very sparkly, like rhinestone. And so for that, we use the tip of a new pastel 211 white. And if you don't have that, you can use a little bit of softer pastel, or you can use your pastel pencil. Now here you see me adding little white lines with my pastel pencil, which makes the strap, the breast collar, look shiny. Just little tiny strokes close together. I'm adding the tassel on the rein of the horse. I outline that with Carpathello Black 750 pencil. And I'm going to put some little white dots on top of that. Right now I'm using a Cretacolor to color in the black hole where the ring is, but I'm adding some highlights on the gold with the French Red Ochre 675, and I'm adding, using the Cretacolor Black pastel lead to add some black in this top of this little tassel, and some little white dots with my white pastel pencil, and I'm outlining those with the Cretacolor. And then I'm going to add the making some of the dots brighter. I'm going to add the tassel and you can see here I'm adding a few little strokes to the back tassel. So the adding a little more French Red Ochre. I'm going to add the tassel with a new pastel black because it's more effective at filling in that big of area of black. And I'm going to blend that with the sponge blender and then add pull down some little strings from the tassel with the Cretacolor marker. Or not marker, but pastel stick. And fill that in a little bit more. And add some light strokes to give it depth with the white pastel pencil. And I'm finishing this little area of leather the same way we've done before. The little gold ornament with the yellow, the French ochre, and the white, and the leather with the 726 and 706 Carbothellos, and blend it with your blender. Outlining that with the black. Adding a little more shading there. .770 pastel pencil, and a little more French Red Ochre, which really gives it that gold tone in that area. Outline that edge with the black. Now I'm using our Terry Ludwig to add dark color to the right side of the horse's body where the shadow falls, and blend that out with a blender. I'm blending the dark, and then I'm going to add some of the unison blue violet to the outside edge of the horse's body and blend that into the dark with my little blender. And I also want to add some more of these nice Richardson bright colors that we used in the background to tidy up that edge and finish the background all the way down to the bottom of the painting on the right side. So here I'm using some blue and I've got some orange on there, and I'm going to blend them together. So I want to make a nice even edge next to the horse and blend them all together. I'm going to finish off the breast collar as we have previously done with the rest of the tack on the horse. And the gold ornaments. Now I've flipped my horse over on its side, and I'm going to, because it's easier to work this way, so I've colored in the shadow underneath the breast collar with my Create a Color black pastel lead, and I'm adding some Unison blue violet. To the left, which would be the left side of the horse's body. And particularly up next to the leather, I want to be more careful. So I'm using the smaller blender. Finish off this little piece of leather over here. I'm using a sponge to blend the blue violet further down. This is slightly sped up, so I'm not really working that fast. So I'm using the black new pastel to make the shadow very dark. I'm going to add a little dark Terry Ludwig here in this area just below and blend this in with my sponge blender. I'm pushing fairly hard on this to get it to blend together. I'm going to flip it back around. And add a little bit of blue. Now I'm going to use the Richardson pastels, the pink number 13, the blue 22 and number 1, and the orange, which was CO22, the yellows 15 and 1, and the violet number 8, to finish up the horse and blend these colors at the bottom of the horse and on the left side of the horse so that it vignettes the horse. The horse fades into the background. Use your sponge to blend well. I hope you have enjoyed this project. For more YouTube videos, please go to my YouTube channel. That would be KWIT YouTube. Or you can go to my website, kwip.com, for more patterns that you can get there. And I hope to see you in one of my classes. Until then, happy painting.